Welcome to Meals Made with Love. I'm Jim Karras. Along with my wife Sabrina, we are the proprietors of Makwa Farms, a purveyor of handcrafted, small batch blended rubs and seasonings. We've created this series to help the home chef use our products to make meals with good taste for their family and friends. In today's episode, we're going to do smoked rotisserie chicken. So let's get to grilling. So the reason why we decided to do rotisserie chicken as our first presentation today was a request for my sister's 60th birthday. So we're going to enjoy whatever we end up with this afternoon, tonight for our meal. The whole premise of our approach is to demonstrate meals that the average home chef can make. Now I realize not everyone has a rotisserie for their grill. What our setup today is going to be is just simply the Weber Genesis grill with its rotisserie attachment. Many grill manufacturers, including Weber and others, as well as aftermarket companies, make rotisserie attachments for gas grills. This could also be done on a charcoal grill, and charcoal grill manufacturers also manufacture rotisserie attachments. So if you want to try to do a typical rotisserie chicken like you might get at Costco or Sam's Club, or your local grocer such as Kroger. Here locally in Southern California, we have Stater Brothers. These chickens are really well done, but if you want to do it at home and make it your own, then this is the show for you today. So for our two chickens today, we're going to use a very basic rub. We're going to start with some kosher salt on each of them, and then for the first one, we're going to do Rusty Bolt Dry Rub. And for our second chicken, we're going to do the lemon pepper seasoning. The Rusty Bolt Dry Rub is just our general all-purpose rub. It's great on poultry, pork, chicken. It can even be used on some fish. And so that's what we want to do just as a basic rotisserie chicken. So with that, I'll get started. First thing in rotisserie, this is our skewer here. This is going to be what we're going to set the birds on and eventually set them on the barbecue. The grill has already been heated up. We're going to also do a smoke today. I'll talk more about that as we get out to the grill. But to start, we're just going to get some salt, and I want to try to just get some salt on this. You don't really need to be too fancy. That's the great thing about rotisserie chicken is really there's very little prep you have to do. We did have our meat cutter at Stater Brothers, Kyle at store number 165 in Orange, prepped these, he did the trussing on these two birds. That's the great thing. We pulled them out of the case, took them to the meat counter, had him truss them. You can certainly truss them at home as well, but if you have them truss them, it just makes for a more even cook around the rotisserie, and it gets them nice and tight, so as they circulate around the rotisserie, you're not going to have pieces hopefully hitting. We may still end up with that over the course of the cook, but I think he did a good enough job that we can get going. The coarse salt on there. You could also go under the skin, which is really great. I'm not going to do that on these. As long as I get a nice the reason why I like to pour it in my hand is just so I can get an even, I see guys on YouTube and other video platforms, and they're so good at just sprinkling right out of the bottle. My wife Sabrina is also pretty good at sprinkling out of the bottle. I just never have been that good. I am going to flip this over, and again, you don't really need to worry too much. Rotisserie chicken, really, it's just the whole cooking process. You could do it without hardly any seasoning at all, and it would still be good. The seasoning just gives it an extra depth and makes it really all the better. All right, so some more of the Rusty Bolt Dry Rub. I think that should be enough. You can see that.
pat this in once you get started. A little more. Typically it's about 3 tablespoons per pound for most stovetop and oven cooking. With dry rub for like the grill and thing, you want to get enough that it penetrates through, and we'll talk more about that as we're out at the grill. But you also don't need as much as you would, let's say, in a recipe. So, all right, the first one's done. I am going to get rid of this glove. Because what I'm going to do, we're going to use our meter temperature probe. This is a wireless temperature probe. We're going to put that in. We want to cook these to where they hit an ultimate temperature of 165. We're going to pull them at 162. And I only have one of the probes, but I'm going to use it on this one, and then we'll definitely check temp on both of them. But that should be good right there. That one is ready. Now it's time to go ahead and get started for our lemon pepper. This is the same thing. We're going to just get it sprinkled with some salt. That may seem like a lot to you, but it will absorb through there. All right, and now I'm going to use the lemon pepper, same thing. I'm going to pour it into my palm. This is an amazing seasoning. Sabrina really did a good job at sourcing the ingredients for this particular rub, well, the seasoning, and that lemon peel that we use, it's very pungent. It just comes across so well, and it's really a favorite. In fact, both of these are some of my favorites of our line. So I hope you enjoy it if you decide to give it a try. So we're going to just pat it down here gently. One of the things that they talk about is to pat your chicken before you start seasoning, and that is a good thing to do, but because we're on the rotisserie, it's going to go for a while, so I wasn't too concerned about that. I'm not going to go quite as heavy on this side because we did do quite a good on the other, but I am going to put just a little bit. There we go. Switch my gloves here. Let's get started again. We'll do this side. This won't need quite as much. More. Maybe a little more than I need. There we go. Okay. All right, I think that's it. All right, next we're going to skewer them and get them out to the grill. Okay, I've moved this chicken around. We're going to try to go ahead and see if we can skewer this. We're going to go in here. There we go. You want to try to get it as square as you can. Quite get, there we go. All right, I got it. Now, let me back off here. And I want to try, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. There we go, perfect. So make sure that's tight. So there's the first one. Our second fork on, and we want them just clear enough that you can make the adjustment to the fork without them hitting each other, but as close to it as you can get it. Let me slide this over. We're going to slide it through. We want to clear as best we can in fact, I'm going to take this probe out. That didn't line up as good as I had hoped. we'll get that fixed. All right, so I'm going to slide this onto the second fork. You're not quite there yet. There we go. All right, we're in good. Let me get this over here onto this one. I'm going to take this last one. And we're going to get him in as tight as we can. All right, now let's get our probe back in. And I want that probe to be in towards the center of the breast meat at the thickest part, but not hitting a bone. There we go. There we go. That's a good spot. All right, and I think we're there. Next, out to the grill. All right, we had to take a little correction. Two things we did, we had to adjust. First of all, I set my chickens in the opposite direction of how they really fit best on the grill and on the spits. So we flipped them, and we originally intended on using quarter tins, but it would not clear with these chickens. We got some good sized chickens, so we improvised and we used a couple of cookie sheets with some foil, and I think that's going to still be acceptable. They seem to be clear, and we're going to flip them on in a second. We did drop in a smoke box, and in the smoke box we have chips. I didn't have pellets handy, so we're using a combination of hickory and cherry as our chips. I'm also keeping a spritz bottle here, my trusty Home Depot HDX sprayer. It has good water in it, and we're going to do that about every 15 minutes or so during the cook, if I can get some smoke out of that. I don't know that I'm going to get some smoke out of that, but we'll give it a shot. It's got a little hint. You can smell it. I've let it cool down a little bit. I want to get it back up to temp. I think we want to try to maintain a temp of about 350, somewhere in there. Our external is at 255 right now because I've had it open. It'll come back up. And we'll be back in just a little bit to kind of give you a glimpse of what it looks like. But before we get started, one thing I want to do, because we did handle the chickens a little bit, so I'm going to just add a little more rub. I'm not going to pat this rub, but I am going to get a little more on there. This will also help with a little bit of a crust. Ooh. Kathy wouldn't like that. All right. All right, so there we are. Let's make sure that we've got this able to clear. Let me just let this do a quick rotate. Now they may hit the trays just a little, but I think it's okay. We got our wings tucked under as best we could. And we may have to readjust those wings as they cook. We'll keep an eye on that. We got our temperature probe in, and we'll connect that in just a minute. I think we're there. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get this closed, and we'll be back in a second and check the temperature probe. Okay, so our ambient temperature right now is about 355. It's been fluctuating a little bit. As we get, if it goes up any more than that to 360, I'm going to prop open the top of the grill to try to regulate that temperature. I could shut down one of the burners, but for right now, I'm not quite there yet. So what I like to do is I'll open the grill just a little, especially with a little bit of smoke. It helps circulate the air. Yeah, some people think it lets the smoke out, but it actually helps the wood burn on the smoke. So we'll do that in a little bit if we need to. Right now, what I'm hoping to do, and I'm going to just step over here, I'm going to show you again inside the grill. You can see our probe. It's coming around. And that probe is connected to the case here, which actually then transmits a little signal to my cell phone. So I'm going to bring up the app on my cell phone. So we've opened the app, and it does communicate right now. It's communicating with the transmitter. So we're going to go ahead and try to set up our cook. We're going to do poultry, and we're going to select chicken, and we're going to do a whole chicken. It wants it at 165, and I agree with that. So we are there. And start cook. So now it will calculate what it thinks it's its time. It may take a few seconds to do that, but it knows that its cook temperature is 165. I'm actually going to bring that down as we get going to 162. I'll pull it at 162, and I will let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes until it gets to an internal temperature of 165. Because if I pull it at 165, then it's going to go to about 168 to 170, and that's just a little bit too done. That's okay for the wings. The wings, the legs, they actually do better at a little higher temp than 165, but your breast meat definitely doesn't like more than 165. That's when it's at its juiciest point. So we're going to shoot for that number and pull it at 162 and let it get there by standing. Okay, so let's see if we can adjust our temperature here. We're going to slide this down to 162. We're going to hit adjust, and now we're at 162. Remember, the FDA recommends that poultry be cooked to an internal temperature of at least 165. So that's our number. We'll pull it 162. We'll let it rest till it rises to 165, and then we'll be golden. Okay, as you can see, the estimated cook is about 1 hour and 25 minutes. It'll keep updating as we go. But that's how much time it's going to take to cook these two chickens. And also, if you'll note here, down on our ambient temperature gauge on the Weber grill, it's showing right at 350. So that means our block over there is doing its job. We've got the heat stabilized presently at 350, and that was my goal. So far the cook is looking good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a little bit of the spray, the water spray. And what my objective here is to get this rotisserie chicken a little moist, which will help the smoke stick a little bit to the actual surface of the chickens. We don't have a lot of smoke in this. I wished I would have had pellets. Actually, let me get that set right. I don't really want a whole lot. I just want to mist them a little bit. And then you'll see our ambient temperature will have dropped. And I may need to adjust my block here a little bit, but for now I'm going to leave it. See, we dropped to 305. So let me do this. Let me pull this. I'll let that set. And when it comes back up to 350, I'll reset the block again. Okay, so our temperature's at 355. I adjusted these a little bit. I'm going to bring them back down just a little. And we're going to do another spritz, and we're also going to check our wood chips here if I can. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this or not, but I'll give it a shot. Yep, we definitely need to add some more wood chips. We'll do that in a second. Let me give this a quick spritz. Oh, they're looking good. If I was gonna put barbecue sauce on these, I would add a 50-50 mix of water and white vinegar. But since we're not gonna sauce these for this dinner, I am using straight water. Vinegar has a higher cook point, so it's a great addition for anything that can withstand a little bit of tartness, the sour of vinegar. But for these, we want it to stand pure. So far, according to meter, we've got 38 minutes left on our cook. So our next step here is just to add a little bit more wood chips to the box. We'll do that in just a second. Okay, let's see, we got our wood chips here. Get that brought up. Let me see if I can open this box. Like that. And we got a little bit of the hickory here. I think I'm going to leave that box right there. Let me, I'm going to close this for a minute until we get back up to temp, and I'll put my block back in. We'll be back. Okay, we just got the alert from the meter temperature probe that our 2 chickens are up to temperature, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick look. They look fantastic. We did get a little more smoke with the smoke box being out there. That's good news. I'm going to go ahead and shut these off. We're going to get them transferred over to in the house on the counter. We're going to let them rest for at least 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, we've got the 2 chickens set in a couple half tins on the counter. We're going to let them rest under foil for about 10 minutes, and we did check the temperature initially, and we're right where we wanted it to be at 162, so I'm confident they'll come up to 165, and in a little bit we'll show you the final product. We'll be back. Okay, we got the chickens off the grill, successfully got them transferred into the house. We got them removed from the spits and the forks out. They've been standing. They're right at 165. So our next goal is we're going to get the twine cut off of them. If you leave it on too long and they start to cool, it's no bueno. It'll stick to the skin and it's hard to get off. So I am going to cut it as best I can and attempt to remove it. Okay. Do have a little bit of, there we go. All right, get that in the sink for now. And let's get this back turned where I want that. Let's do the same thing with this one. There is a second string, but for the life of me, oh, there it is. Okay, I see it. Okay, that may stay on because I'm going to have to trim that off. You don't want that to come apart on you. Alright, so I'll leave that a little bit for now. And we'll come back and get that. Okay. Okay, we got our string taken off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to quarter them. To quarter them, I want to use my tongs, a good set of tongs, and a good knife. This knife really needs to be sharpened professionally. Sabrina just did her thing, but what you want to do is you want to try to score the skin in the center. We're going to try to find the breastbone. That is definitely not a sharp knife. But we're good. We're through it. Okay. This knife is not really sharp. What I want to do is get on the edge of the breastbone and get down to the ribs. My knife just is not sharp enough. Okay. Now, I'm going to use the back of the knife and get through that last rib bone. There we go. All right. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to flip it on its side like that. Like that. And this one as well. Like that. Okay, now that we got that, let me get this tong again. We're going to quarter this. We're just going to go in, slice, score that skin, and then as you pull back, there is just a natural separation between the two joints. If I had a decent knife. There we go. Perfect. All right, so there's one. Now let me get the second one. I'm going to pull this back, score the skin. And see, that one came right out. These are going to be so nice. Now, if you want, you can do the same with the wing. I'm going to leave it whole and let them do that at the table. But there you are. Now let's do the next one. All right, we got the Rusty Bolt dry rub chicken done. We're going to try for the lemon pepper and see how we can get that one sliced in half to start. Again, the goal is to first score your skin. Usually you can do that in one fell swoop. This knife is definitely ready for the sharpener. You want to use the back of your knife, go right down into that breastbone, and you're going to cut through the rib bones on the bottom. All right, now that we got that done, we get this skin. I'm going to flip this. I'm going to flip it around. This is a little different because I'm left-handed. Flip this. I'm going to flip it around. But as you can see, they're both nice and juicy. The rotisserie did its job, kept it moist. I'm going to score this skin on the back side. I didn't really lose that skin. And there is a natural separation. If I can get in there between those two joints. much easier with a knife. That is up to the task. It's not textbook, but it'll do for our family. There. Now, same with this one. I'm just going to hold this one back. I'm going to try this way. Give these. And right through. I'm not quite between the two. There we go. Again, not my professional chef buddies out there will give me a hard time on that, but we got them. And now let me just do this for you. I'm going to take a little bit of this breast meat, and a little bit of this chicken. And if you can see that, it's definitely moist. Step over here to the sink away. Oh, that's good. That is good. That's exactly what we were hoping for. Let me do the same thing on this one. This is the lemon pepper. What a contrast. Both really special in their right. Exactly, we met our goal. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Hope you enjoyed it. That's it. Lemon pepper whole rotisserie chicken, Rusty Bolt dry rub whole rotisserie chicken. We're ready to eat.
That's it for this episode. Please like, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell to stay up to date as we publish new episodes. We would love for you to leave a comment to share your thoughts with us and our viewers. To order our products, visit our website at apachefarms.net. We sell and ship to all locations throughout California. In today's episode, we used Rusty Bolt dry rub and our lemon pepper seasoning. Until next time, I'm Jim Karras. Thanks for watching, and remember, good taste begins with a little love.
BKG Media Works.